Welcome to another episode of On the Go Movie Reviews, where we talk about films on the drive home from the cinema. Tonight we've just seen Hobbs and Shaw, or if you live in the UK, Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. Not that it makes much of a difference. If you haven't seen the trailer, although you probably have because it's everywhere, here's the trailer.
I'm dealing with the future of the planet. I'm the necessary shock to the system. I am human evolutionary change. Bulletproof. Superhuman.
Who the hell are you?
Bad guy.
The mission has been compromised. We need help.
Our target's name is Brixton. He's a ghost. We're gonna need the best trackers in the business. Luke Hobbs.
I'm what you call an ice-cold can of whoop-ass.
Career lawman. Always gets his guy. We're gonna need to operate outside the system. Deckard Shaw.
I'm what you might call a champagne problem.
Rogue former MI6 agent. Doesn't play well with others. If we stand a chance against Brixton, you guys have to work together.
No way. This guy's a real ass. This job requires stealth. Look at you.
I'm trying to save the world, which, for the record,
Will be my fourth time.
because I'm really good at it.
You have no idea what we're dealing with.
Hobbs and Shaw. You want a war? You've got one. Remember me?
On my three.
Sure.
1, 2, 3.
Three shocks will kill a man. There we go. It's a bad guy speech.
You had to open your big mouth, didn't you, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a cool thing to say in the moment.
So, Amy, what did you think of Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw?
That was such a mixed bag. It was both hilarious, ridiculous, very sexy. Everyone knew I was going to say that, because it's just typical of me to say that. And so dumb, it was almost bad. What did you think of Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw?
Well, it's a lot of fun,
Yes, that is a really good way to describe
which I think is the best way. It's like the most expensive load of fun I've ever seen in my life. It is unbelievably stupid.
I laughed so hard the whole way through that film, and I feel sorry. I'm sorry to everyone else who was in the cinema with us, because I was just constantly laughing, even at inappropriate moments. Just so funny, so good. And I don't know. I really like the action scenes. Yeah, I have so much to talk about. You go, because I'm all over the place.
Okay, should we do non-spoilers
Yes.
first,
okay,
which
let's
is
do non-spoilers.
hard because there's some really great stuff to
There
talk
is, yeah.
about.
Yeah.
If you are, I think if you're a fan of the early Fast and Furious movies,
You will not like this if you're a fan of the
it
early
is
ones.
so far.
Yeah,
like-
so far removed now.
I'm pretty sure the first one's about a bunch of like car racing
yeah,
enthusiasts who steal
yeah.
DVD players.
Yeah.
Now it's about The Rock and Jason Statham
Running around, doing some saving the world kind of stuff.
saving like a super duper virusy thingy
Yep.
from robot Idris Elba.
Oh my god.
Oh, I will say this, without getting into spoilers,
Mm.
it's very rare to see an action movie that actually successfully works at continuously ramping up.
Yeah.
And this is a movie that manages to outdo itself
I
at every time with nothing
It's-
more stupid and bigger.
is definitely more similar to the more recent Fast and Furious franchise films. You know, the ridiculousness level is at a high. It just wouldn't exist in the real world. It's almost in a little universe of its own because it's so ridiculous.
Specifically since Statham entered the franchise.
Yes. Funnily enough.
It kind of goes without saying, but like, The Rock and... Sorry, I should call him Dwayne Johnson, shouldn't I? Dwayne Johnson
should,
and
yeah.
Jason Statham have this amazing chemistry. Like,
they do, yeah.
even though, like, for 3/4 of the movie, their entire dialogue consists of them just stopping point blank in a scene to just
Yeah,
insult
to
each
just-
other
to just-
continuously.
Yeah, insult each other, and I love the use. This is at the very beginning. I'm not sure if you might have to bleep these words out, but I love the fact that Dwayne Johnson calls Statham a wanker.
Yeah, that's good
I'll
fun,
say it
isn't
in your language. You're a wanker. Don't worry, guys. That's like in the first 10 minutes, if that. I love the idea that The Rock gets up, eats coffee for breakfast, and works out.
Oh, he drinks like 8
And-
raw eggs.
Yeah, drinks 8 raw eggs, eats coffee, not the other way around, which
Yeah.
it should be. And
Drinks eggs, eats
Statham has like an omelette, a fancy
He
omelette,
cooks himself a little
and
omelette.
then goes to the pub for a pint in the rain.
Yep. I thought that was
I-
quite funny considering that recently we've been having like this
beautiful
this bastard
sunshine.
hot like summer, and then the movie's like, oh, it's England, it rains all the time.
I did really like that opening sequence with the contrasting
Oh, the dual shot.
yeah,
where
the
it's,
dual shot.
cut
I
down
just
the middle.
thought it was so clever, and I don't know. I guess I feel that this movie, because a lot of it is set in the UK, but they actually do a better job at showing England to a stereotypical extent, but they still do a better job than most films who just Americanize England.
I'm gonna say this: I actually preferred the depiction of the UK in this than I did in Fast and Furious 6.
Yes, me too. I'm very happy that his mum comes back.
What, Helen Mirren?
Helen Mirren comes back
Oh,
as
she's great.
as
Mama
Dex's
Shaw.
mum. Come on, Dex. She's your sister. It's no longer he's your brother. It's she's your sister. Yeah, great. I love
Speaking
the
of
fact
which,
she
let's
was
get
there.
this mild spoiler out the way.
Okay.
No Luke Evans.
No.
Owen Shaw is named and seen in a flashback when they were children, but he is not present in the movie.
Yeah, I was both saddened
I was a little bit
and
bummed.
surprised. Yeah, I at least thought he'd turn up in I don't know, in like a one scene or something like that.
I really expected him to turn up towards it because there's an overarching theme in the movie about reuniting families.
Yeah.
About how just because you've had some disagreements and you're distance yourself from your family doesn't mean that you shouldn't forgive and forget, and family's more important. And I was like, now would be a great time for Owen Shaw to turn up.
Can I do the spoiler for this?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, so spoiler at the end or near the end, well, it's pretty much the end scene. Statham then says, "You made me kill my brother." And I was a bit like, so he's dead?
Well, he's not dead because he's
But he was alive before. But
yeah, he's alive.
so does Statham not know that he's alive? Because I don't really remember the Fast and Furious. Like, is this meant to be like a in-between movie? He's dead, or like he thinks he's dead, or
What, that he died between Fast and Furious 8 and now?
I have no idea.
They're making reference to that
Because
little bit of
I
dialogue.
can't remember
That bit of dialogue
the
makes
others.
reference to when Statham had to go dark, as it were.
Oh, okay.
So this is like they're talking about events that are pre.
Okay,
Fast and Furious
so
7.
Luke Evans is still alive.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
He's still Scarface.
I want him to turn up and just make it complete.
But speaking of the Shaw family,
Yeah.
I thought that Vanessa Kirby was amazing.
Oh, fantastic.
I thought she was
She
really
was excellent.
good.
Is she a British actress?
Yes, we last saw her in Mission Impossible 6.
Oh, so I thought that she did a really good job of portraying a strong female character. Like, there wasn't any, kind of like, oh, you can't do it because you're a woman.
Mm.
There was none of that. She fights off against The Rock, and he is a bit like, Dwayne Johnson, and he is a bit like, oh, you're holding back? Yeah, I'm holding back a little bit. She's like, well, you shouldn't have. And then at one point, he just has to lift her off the ground like he's bloody bench pressing her or something. You know what I mean? Whatever that one is. Probably a squat lift or something. I don't know. I have never
Well,
lifted weights.
he does a one-arm raise above his head,
Yeah.
so,
Which I believe he can do. Because she probably doesn't weigh very much. So, yeah. But I like the fact that otherwise, she beats up people. There's never an excuse for her not being able to go and fight. And I did appreciate that,
I was also 100% convinced
in a realistic sense
as well. Like, I was never
like, I was never like,
Bizzle, you're just some pretty thing who's been
Yeah,
told to do this. No, I was like, at all times I was like, yep, she could do
she's
this.
badass, and she spends most of the movie with a beaten up face, like bruises and cuts and all that.
Still really pretty though.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god.
God damn.
I would. Anyway, so yeah, I appreciate it, but it wasn't like over the top. It wasn't like, oh look, here's a female character who's strong. We're gonna push it and push it. Look, it's it's a woman.
Like Triple X3, where they've got people like Ruby Rose who makes
yes,
that's what she said jokes.
Yeah,
and
they're not like making a big scene and a big lights and dancing. Oh look, it's a woman who can do stuff. It's subtle and that's kind of. I'm going to go into a bit of equality stuff here now, but that's where I feel like we need to be in the world with equality.
Yeah, because she also has a proper personality.
Yeah, she's
Whereas
not
usually
just
when
this
they're usually when they get the woman who can do stuff, she's all like, yeah, I'm all quiet and stuff. Like I remember when they got Gina Carano for Deadpool 1.
Yes.
She doesn't say anything.
No.
Ruby Rose is literally silent in John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually this big. No offense to Ruby Rose and I can't remember the name of the other one, but
Gina
they're
Carano.
quite,
Ronda Rousey.
wide-shouldered, look like they could beat you up, almost verging on butch women. Whereas I like the fact that in this she's very clearly just a spy who's been taught how to fight properly. But yeah.
Yeah, because she even mentions at one point about how there's two types of operative. There's intelligence, and there's espionage, and there's she would be an espionage person because she can just blend in.
So should we mention who else was in this movie who was a surprise?
Oh, should we go into spoilers?
Yeah, well, I'd already said spoiler alert.
Wait. No, before we get into spoilers, whilst
I already said spoiler alert.
But we're kind of jumping the gun. We've got to talk about the big one.
Okay, well, you can...
Big one is, whilst we're talking about British people, we need to talk about Idris Elba.
Oh my god.
There we go, see?
Oh my god.
I've actually, do you know what? It's rare to see Idris Elba play a character who's having so much fun.
Oh,
because usually when I see him, he's either grumpy or stoic. Yeah, straight-laced.
Yeah.
And this time it's just, he's just having fun being a robot.
He was just having a great time. You could tell as well. You could tell he was having fun with it.
He's got great physicality as well.
He does, yeah. And his face, I never knew. Same actually with Statham in this. I never knew he could portray so much just on the face. You know? I thought they were all great in this.
I loved Idris Elba.
Even if they were ridiculous.
And I thought all of his robot shit was really fun and entertaining. But my god, was that motorbike the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
CGI motorbike. Woo! Yep.
Mud spoilers. Idris Elba has a motorbike, which seemingly
he basically whistles it like a freaking horse.
Yeah, first of all, it drives
and
itself,
and
it comes to him. And then second of all, whilst he's riding it, it can like it's like made out of Lego.
Can, like, assemble and
It's like a
deassemble.
mini transformer.
Motorcycle, assemble!
There's a bit where he has to drive the motorbike underneath a lorry,
Oh,
and
man.
like the wheels
It
stay
all scrunches
upright,
up.
but the rest of the bike all like contorts, and he sort of jumps on the back. And I was just like, oh, this is what?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not even like like the CGI's not great either.
No,
it's just
because
like
they spent the money elsewhere,
they did spend the money elsewhere.
which you could tell in the finale.
I loved Brixton. I think he was a great character, and I loved like the backstory that he has.
Yeah,
Like the
and
connections.
it's not like put out there as an obvious backstory. It's just kind of, you just kind of have to figure it out for yourself.
Okay, now let's do the spoilers.
Okay, spoiler alert.
Should
That's
we
it.
talk
Total
about?
spoiler alert.
Okay, now we're going to talk spoilers.
I want to talk about how much it jumped around.
Do you mean as in like the rather frenetic editing, or do you mean like
No,
the
like the.
now we're here, now we're here,
Yes.
now we're
yeah,
here?
the kind of like, okay, we're here and we're doing this mission. Okay, now we're here and we're doing a different mission. Okay, now we're here, and I felt like it changed the tone too quickly. But I forgive it because of how silly it was.
They also seem to be able to travel impossibly large distances in seemingly no time at all.
That's because of their good friend. Go on, give it away.
Okay, so Kevin Hart is in this movie. He plays an air marshal.
I should have expected it. He's such good friends with Dwayne Johnson.
Yep.
Of course he was going to
should have
be in the
seen it
movie
coming.
somewhere.
Yeah, so Hobbs and Shaw, basically, they spent about 3 minutes on this plane journey
Arguing.
just insulting each other with weird pop culture references and all that kind of stuff.
Oh no.
And then all of a sudden, from the seat in front, he turns around and it is Kevin Hart,
Yep. It's
who then has like a
fantastic.
near 2-minute monologue.
Oh, it's just great. I really, really loved that. It made me so happy, and I was so surprised that he just turns up out of nowhere.
I did not know about that. I did
Nope.
not see it coming. I was happy for it though.
Yeah.
The other big cameo appearance that I did not know about
No, I had no idea.
was Ryan Reynolds.
Basically, just playing Deadpool.
Well, it comes from the movie's from David Leitch, who was the director of Deadpool 2.
I think Ryan Reynolds has reached a point in his acting career where he plays one character, and that character is himself, and that's it now. That's just who he plays. But I really, really, really enjoyed it. So Ryan Reynolds plays like a CIA. I think he's a CIA agent.
Yeah, CIA, yeah.
Who I don't know if we've seen him before.
No.
But he's like, hey, we're buds, we're best friends.
He's completely new to the franchise.
And Hobbs is like, no, we're not. And he's like, yeah, all those times that we spent together.
We got matching tattoos.
Matching tattoos.
Which just means that Ryan Reynolds got
just got the
Dwayne
tribal
Johnson.
tattoo. Yeah, but I really enjoyed his little appearance and the fact that he just keeps turning up, and then at the end, in the kind of mid-credits scene.
Yes, one of them. This movie just keeps on going, doesn't it?
Well, that was the the initial mid-credits.
At the end of the key credits, there's a
the
little
key credits,
scene
and then there's a second
with
one.
Ryan Reynolds setting up the sequel.
Yeah.
The inevitable sequel.
And it's just great.
Which I guess means that because Statham, The Rock, aren't returning for Fast and Furious 9.
No.
I'm guessing that this is kind of sowing the seeds for
a new franchise.
Them doing their own series, which will run concurrent with Fast and Furious 9 and 10, because 9 and 10 are the big finales.
I just need to say, skin coming off like a kimono in a whirlwind. Or a hurricane. Can't remember which. Oh man.
Hurricane.
Such an image. Such an image.
I like the fact they set up the fact that the sequel's going to have like the exact same plot.
Yeah.
That
I
is
don't care.
Also, the plot is completely stolen from Mission Impossible 2.
Oh, I didn't know
where,
that.
like,
I have
in
not
Mission
seen that
Impossible
film.
2, Ethan Hunt is doing a mission with like a female sidekick.
Right.
And there's a virus, so she injects herself with the virus to stop the bad guy from getting
Okay.
on. However, and then it becomes a race against time to
Oh,
save her life and stop
we
the
have
virus.
seen it. I just don't remember it. very well. It wasn't as fun as this film,
It's not as fun.
or as sexy.
It is not as sexy, no.
No. I really enjoyed all of the fighting scenes. I still love all of Statham's fighting scenes.
His hand stuff, dude's like 50, I
he
swear.
is so
But he's
good.
like so quick.
He can still
Oh.
move. He really can. I aspire to be a martial artist like him one day. But that will never happen because I will never be that good.
Oh man, I mentioned
It's just incredible.
I mentioned about how the movie is able to continuously ramp up,
Yes.
which leads to
4-car.
the daisy chain is what I want to talk about.
Yeah, daisy
Because
chain. That's
my
a good word for
goodness.
it. Yeah. The 4-car daisy chain. With the helicopter on the end.
The helicopter's trying to take off and it's trying to drag one of the vehicles. So what they do is that they start connecting other vehicles to the main vehicle.
This is in
weigh it
Samoa,
down.
so most of the people are half naked,
Yeah,
just in their little, I don't know what you call them, little,
traditional uniforms.
well,
clothing.
traditional clothing. Yeah, if you know what that's called, comment below.
I watched I watched one of the making of featurettes for Moana, and
Yeah.
it talks about the special type of clothing where it's like weaved together. But yeah,
I
that's
think
all I
it's just
remember.
it's like a cotton, but they just wear it like a it's almost like I guess a man skirt. That's obviously not the official term. I don't know what
my
it's called.
Samoan man skirt.
If you know what it's called, let me know. I'm not being offensive, I promise.
Whilst
But
we're
yeah,
talking
that
about Samoa and
daisy
the
chain, but
amazing
yeah.
finale of the daisy chaining vehicles, which oh my goodness, just made me laugh out loud. So it's
Oh.
just like,
Well,
how did they make it more ridiculous
I
and
kind
yet
of-
more awesome?
I wouldn't say that is the big finale. The big finale is the 3-man punch-up.
One of my
Which
it
is
shouldn't
so
be
good.
because basically what happens is the helicopter and the vehicle containing Hobbs Shaw and Hattie Shaw falls off
Or fall off a cliff.
it falls off a cliff. Everyone survives miraculously.
I really wanted Statham to do like a fantastic dive into the waterfall,
Oh
but
my
he
goodness.
didn't.
It then starts raining like a thunderstorm
Well,
immediately.
they do say earlier on in the film there's going to be a storm in the northern part of the island, which is why they go there.
It is like
they do set that up.
daylight. It's like clear skies when they're on top of the cliff. By the time they hit
Shut
the
up.
bottom,
They set it up.
just black skies, rain cloud, and
It's all
then
coming from the waterfall.
and then they begin this fight scene between The Rock and Statham versus Idris Elba, and it's in the rain, and there's like crazy slow-mo.
Yeah.
But oh, I really enjoyed it.
And it's like the distraction techniques. I think it's the fact that their faces genuinely looked like they were being punched.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they actually were, or if that was just like somehow. I don't know how they would do
They
that.
are all quite old
'Cause,
guys.
like-
I'm pretty sure they can't like just
I don't
punch
know
each other
because
in the
how
face.
can you make your face do that?
I'm pretty sure they would have a way.
Like, because I reckon if you go soft face and you punch lightly to not actually hurt anyone, you could probably do it. Or like, I don't know, somehow like have a pad that you CGI out, which absorbs the blow, but makes your face go silly.
Hey, action item number 1. If you have any idea how
they do the
how
silly,
they do the
silly face.
CGI being punched in the face stuff, leave a comment.
Because I like the fact that it actually looked like they were being punched in the face, and
Yeah,
like
and it was them
they-
doing it as well.
Yeah, and they actually like you can see their faces when they're punching as well.
Mm.
Is like genuine. I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah, and there's like a little.
Et cetera, et cetera.
I quite like the little touching moment as well when Hobbs is like, "I'll take a punch so that you can land
Yeah.
one," and then Statham's like,
Yeah, and
"Oh,
it's vice versa.
I'll do the same thing for you. I got
Yeah.
your back, brother." I was like, "Ah, guys,
Yeah, that was good.
guys are having a bro moment."
There were some more things I wanted to talk about, but I can't. There's so much going on, I can't even think right now.
Well, I like the fact that fantastic British character actor Eddie Marsan turns up
Oh yes,
as little Russian
he
scientist.
does. Yeah, he
I
always
was
seems to
like,
be a little
"Oh,
scientist,
I'm so
but then
glad
he
he's
ends
still
up
in
being a bit of
movies."
a badass.
He does, yeah.
I liked that.
As The Rock's brother, Jonah, we have character actor Cliff Curtis.
Yeah, I
who is
was like, oh, who's it gonna
amazing.
be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? And then I was like, I don't remember who this person is.
That is Cliff Curtis, who you last saw in The Meg.
I was gonna say, oh yeah, okay, I
Jason
recognized
Statham.
his face.
He is
Yeah.
in so much stuff.
Okay,
and
he's
he is
one of those
great.
who's like, you don't really recognize him until you know who he is.
Yeah, and then kind of like the
Yeah,
shameful
okay.
thing is the fact that because he's like Samoan, he's kind of like ethnically ambiguous in Hollywood's eyes.
Yeah, I
So
did
he
notice.
turns up in lots of different projects
Yeah.
as lots of different ethnicities.
Yeah.
Also in
Blessed
like
their babe. Ethnicities.
yeah, no, I was doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I know,
Ethnicity.
but I don't know why. Alright, anyway, yeah, go on.
Also in the background of all of the Samoan scenes, well, I say in the background, slightly to one side of frame and not given any speaking lines, is WWE wrestler Roman Reigns,
Oh, I didn't know that.
who is the cousin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I believe.
Oh, really?
Or at least he's a cousin in that kind of like Samoan way where everyone's kind of family.
Yeah, well, you know.
Because I believe he had to take a break from wrestling because he was having treatment for leukemia.
Oh, okay.
And I believe he probably filmed this whilst he was...
Yeah. I like the fact that The Rock finally got to do I believe it's called a haka.
Oh, the war dance type thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because he's, you know, obviously recently he's really gone back to his roots. And he obviously got to do quite a lot in Moana, but that was only voice-wise.
Yes, animated.
So I think, you know, it's animated. So I think it's quite nice that he actually got to physically do a bit more in terms of, you know, really showing his, you know, his
Heritage?
heritage. That's
Ancestry?
what I was looking for.
Culture?
Which is nice. I thought it was a nice touch.
It was a pretty badass moment.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
gonna
pretty
like
cool.
from like a filmmaking point of view, there was one thing that I really appreciated is they talk about how like you should attack just before dawn.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole sort of sequence where they call in like a helicopter and dawn is breaking, and then what you then get is I understand that this was 100% done artificially,
Yeah.
but what you get is like the cinematography for the fight scene from that point onwards slowly gets brighter over the like the 2 minutes of fight scene as though the sun is literally as though dawn is breaking.
You did just remind me the helicopter scene is, I believe it was from, I'm going to say Apocalypse Now, because I've seen it in the trailer. Yeah, you know, helicopter coming over the
Yeah.
dawn is breaking.
Or it could be one of the 100 movies that have made reference to that, like Kong Skull Island.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's bloody done that when the sun's rising. I think that they 100% left the door open for Idris Elba to return.
Yes.
Because I was literally thinking, I was like The Rock was one of the main antagonists in Fast and Furious 5.
Oh, yeah.
Owen
Idris
Shaw.
Elba could come back as a good guy.
Yeah, Owen Shaw was the main bad guy in 6.
I really
Deckard
want
Shaw
him
was
to
the main
come
bad guy in
back.
7.
Oh, Dex.
Both.
Sorry.
So like both Owen and Dex come back in 8 to do the plane siege together. So they're both good guys. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if like Brixton, like he's the bad guy, and then he just joins the team in the next one, and they kind of like he gets shut down, so he doesn't get killed, he doesn't get
Yeah.
destroyed, and he falls into the ocean, and his body gets washed
Ambiguous.
away.
Do you know what I did find quite funny about this? Is the fact that they went from like Fast and Furious, which is like, oh, it's all about family, and then this one where it's all about, like, they're like, yeah, it's all about actual family,
Yes.
and then The Rock at one point is like, yep, all alone, no one else, and I was like, dude, like, you had this supposed family, which is funny, because obviously now you're not part of that franchise anymore. And one thing I was thinking about near the beginning is how much they actually changed his character from being like this cop to being... He kind of has a bit more depth, I suppose. He's not just a goody-goody two-shoes anymore. He's a bit more of a badass.
I also like the fact that whenever he's in a Fast and Furious movie, he's always working as part of a team.
Yeah.
And then in this one, he's like,
I always work alone.
It's like, no, you
I
don't.
always work alone. Yep, always. Always
You
work
used
alone.
to hang out with Chris Hemsworth's wife.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
I'm so glad that Vin Diesel wasn't in this.
I
So glad
Another
he's not in
thing
it.
that I was thinking is obviously not going to happen, but I like the idea that Vin Diesel is actually the bad guy, the commander,
Oh,
as they called it.
the mysterious
The
voice. It
mysterious
was really
voice.
bugging me because I was like, I swear I know whose voice that is, but it wasn't coming to
It's
me.
when it came in and out, and I was just like, oh, come on. I know it's obviously not going to, but I'm going to stick with my idea that it's actually Vin Diesel. I'm going to just go with that and be like, yep. It's
I
Vin
would-
Diesel, he's the bad guy.
I would have lost my mind if they'd revealed that it was like Tobin Bell.
Oh my god.
Doing like his jigsaw
Can you imagine?
voice.
No, because it went too squeaky
Yeah,
at points.
I know it's not him.
I also, when...
It kind of bugs me that you never find out.
Yeah, I know. That's for the second one.
Yeah, I know. Let's wrap this up. Action item. What's the dumbest thing you can think of to happen in an action movie? Because they probably need ideas for the sequel.
Yeah.
So leave
yeah.
a comment below.
I would put this at a rewatchability of 5.
5. I want to watch this again.
It's so fun. It's so silly. Do not go into this movie wearing your serious hat. Wear your silly
God.
hat.
Throw it away.
And your silly pants.
Burn
and your
it.
silly shirt. And your silly shoes. And your silly trousers. And all the other silly things that you can wear. Because if you take this movie at any point seriously, you're going to be in for a bit of a surprise.
The trailers do not do it justice to the level of silliness.
But I'm glad that the trailers were very minimal in what
That's
they
true,
showed.
actually. They didn't like. There's
They
a lot
didn't
of great
spoil
jokes
it.
as well that they don't spoil.
Yeah.
None of the big cameos they spoil.
No. They were all surprises.
Oh, good on them.
So yeah, go watch this. See it in the cinema because it's gonna need the money.
Because this thing must have cost so
Yeah,
much.
it's gonna need the money because it was probably damn
so
expensive.
We've been seeing the trailer like every single time we've
Yeah.
been to the cinema for like months.
Wait, let's look this up when
The
when
marketing
you go
budget.
in. Have a look on your box office mojo or whatever it is.
Find out what the budget was.
Find out that other websites are available.
And try and find out what
the budget is.
trying to find out what the marketing expenses were. 'Cause,
Millions.
whoa.
This film cost millions and millions and millions.
Yeah, highly recommend. It's a real good time.
Yeah, it's fun. It's silly. Go see it.
All right, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the little bell to stay notified.
Ding ding.
Oh, that's not as dumb as anything that happened in the movie.
Nope.
So, yeah, fair enough.